All right, guys, so today what I'm going to be doing is installing one of these DTE transmission differential braces on my 2002 Corvette. I couldn't really find any instructions online, so I figured I would just make a video about how I'm going about doing it. Currently, just to give you an idea, right now I do have my transmission and rear diff out of the car, and people say that you can do this with it in the car, but I already had it out for rebuild, so I'm just going to go over how I'm going to do this. For starters, I went ahead and removed the necessary bolts. This is going to be on the passenger side differential cover. Really was not fond of taking out these brand new bolts that RPN gave me when they reassembled my differential here for me, and I just, you got to take them out. So went ahead and got that process started here, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take your brace for this side here, and it's going to go in this orientation like so, and you'll notice that there is a cutout here, and then this hole up here where my pinky is, that's where the cross brace will go over to the other side, holding the two sections together. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on here. Give me just a moment. So I went ahead and got this bracket bolted on here with the supplied hardware that was given with the kit, and I went ahead and I wound this bolt in here just for a reference so I'd know where it would go. And then, as I stated before, this right here is going to go right there and just run the length. And then there was a nut and bolt provided with spacers here that will go here, and that's where that actual bar will go. Now, for the driver's side of the differential, there's actually two pieces for this kit. There is a smaller brace that goes down here, and then there is an upper brace that'll go right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the hardware out and get that put in. Now, one thing I was noticing is that notch doesn't actually line up with the other side, but the two bolt holes here do. And I think those are the ones that really matter anyways, because that's where that cross beam is going, and that's where your second bar, your upper bar, is going to connect to go to the front on this side as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get this on this side here, and be back in a moment. Those two pieces installed on the driver's side, you'll notice that you are literally removing every single bolt out of there and replacing them. So it's here, 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 here. It's pretty self-explanatory. But then I don't have instructions again for this kit, so I'm not really sure if there's like an order of operations for this. So I'm going to go ahead and set this bar where it belongs in the smaller set of holes here, and then the larger set of holes is for those turnbuckles. So I'm going to go ahead and just get that put in there using the supplied bolts and washers. So the crossbar installed. I don't know what the torque spec is on that, so I just made it until there was like no more gap, and then gave it another quarter turn. So these were 11s. These were 13s. Made sure to use the supplied washers for each one of them. And now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the front side. I think for the front, though, I'm going to have to wait until the transmission's on the car because of the way the brackets go on there. But I'll probably get the turnbuckles lined up. Tip, so when you're installing your turnbuckle rods here, you'll notice on each one of them there's this little line on one side and not on the other. What that is that just signals it's to denote that that side is actually a reverse thread. So instead of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, it is quite the opposite. And that means that, your turnbuckles are the same. So just be aware that sometimes if you're trying to wind one in and it doesn't go in, that's because it probably is a reverse thread. And that's just so that when you turn this rod, it moves in one fluid motion, obviously. So just a heads up. For getting that side on here and understanding why it is that they say you have to use packs of 3 washers here, it's because otherwise this won't actually fit in here because it would lay flat, and this is a high point here. So you put 3 washers here. This is down the passenger side here, here, against all 4 bolts, because that's how you space it out. I can see why they say glue them together, because it is difficult to finagle those in there. But then what you'll do is your turnbuckle, your upper will sit there and connect there. You just want to make sure that's the right length, and then your lower is going to go there. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to get that kind of set together so I can put this back in the car. Hopefully this clears my exhaust. I don't think that it will. Okay, so that is what the passenger side is going to look like when it is pretty much assembled. I'm actually going to try and put it in the car like this. And I have a feeling that this rod is going to get in my way for this bolt, but sorry. This rod here get in the way of me tightening this one down, but I just don't see any way that I'm going to be able to tighten that here with it in the car. And the other problem is that it's definitely not supposed to go under it because there's no space. So, but that's what that side will look like, and I'll show you a video here of what it's going to look like when the other side is done as well. So for the driver's side, I went ahead and got everything lined up here, and it looked like you also have to have the stack of 3 washers across pretty much everything here as well. All 4 of those bolts, but I am short 3 washers for that lower, so I think I can get to that once it's in the car. So I'll just get some more washers and I'll put that together when it's in there. But I also noticed here on this side, I have to mount this on the outside instead of the inside, like the passenger side, because between that vent tube there for the rear diff and this magnet here, reverse lockout, I think that's what that is, the rod just doesn't sit right. It either hits this or it hits this, and that whole setup, just there was no way to make that work. So it's gonna have to sit on the outside on this. Now luckily my car, there's only exhaust on one side, so it really doesn't matter on this car, but it might matter, you know, on other cars. So just be aware, that's how I had to do it on this one, but maybe you won't have to. Maybe it'll just work. Who knows? But now it is all on the transmission, both sides, and that's how you do it. So now I just got to put it up in the car, but just figured I would make a video of how I'm doing it while it's out of the car for, you know, those of you who wanted to know. I didn't ever find it like a good video on YouTube already.